Hello, my name is Bad Bunny. I'm glad you're here. I decided to speak English today because, what the hell? The country is an English-speaking country, but that's just me. Let me talk to you about some people I don't think speak English, and that is Pam Bondi and the people at the DOJ. Here's the latest. Well, let me start with this. In case you missed the Epstein episode on Friday, the FBI in the document dump, it came out now that the film that they showed us, and remember, Dan Bongino, everybody else said, I watched it. I watched every second of it, and there was nothing. I just thought of something. Can somebody check? Jason, can you check today? Remember there was that edit? That was at the top of an hour, though, wasn't it? Wasn't that right at the top of an hour? It was like at 58 or something. They said they
and it resets?
Video resets. I think it was at the top of hour, so it wouldn't work. But just check it for the correlation of the time of the orange blob. So we find out Friday that on the video there is an orange blob that is going up the stairs. Now, you could call Ghostbusters, and maybe it was a ghost, but it appears to either be a prisoner or somebody dressed like a prisoner that is going up the stairs to Epstein's cell block, okay? There's no record of it. They've all seen it. CBS analyzed the digital and said, yep, that's clearly, in fact, they had an analyst come in and say that is not just somebody carrying towels. It appears to be on a body because they can tell the way it's moving that it's moving in the way a body would move. So you can only see like maybe the shirt on the body, the side of the sleeve or something, but it's moving up the stairs. They saw this early on. They asked. Nobody had an answer. They blamed it first on one of the guards who was, quote, sleeping. She said, no, I don't bring towels up. I don't bring bed sheets up. That would be a complete, complete deviation from what I do. I don't do that. That happens in the shift before. So where would I be bringing the sheets at 10:30 at night? Okay. Then we find out on Friday, not only is the orange blob thing, we find out that they've never answered and they just don't know, but nothing to see here. Then we find out that when they found him at 6:30, one of them, the guy who said he was sleeping all night, he took the body down from the noose, but he doesn't recall removing the noose, and his partner, who was awake and apparently, making all the falsifying the documents, and she got it like 3:00 in the morning. She said there is 21 prisoners now on the cell block instead of 22. Oh, that was just a mistake. Okay, well, there's another bad mistake. He's sleeping. You're screwing up the logs. We don't know who the little orange blob is, and you say you were wide awake. Where were you? Who was that? How did you not see that? How is this jail still operating if all of these things are truly just mistakes? Anyway, so she's standing there watching him. She said, I don't remember a noose. They take the body. The coroner can't tell a time of death because the body was moved. What do you mean you can't tell the body? You could tell the time of death just by the temperature. You'd at least be able to get a ballpark. It happened 15 minutes ago. It happened 6 hours ago. You could at least do that. Nope. No idea what time he killed himself. That doesn't make sense to me at all. Now, I'm not obviously a medical examiner, but I am a doctor. So, I would think that you could give some ballpark of an idea whether the body was moved, from hanging to laying down on the floor or not. But she said, I don't remember seeing a noose. Then when they take the body, they come back. They seal the room off. They come back. And then there's a noose that's found on the floor of the cell. Except in the documents they've just released, they verified that that is not the noose that hung him. I mean, I think third graders could do a better job at saying, no, there is something here to ask questions about. What if that wasn't the noose? Where was the noose that he apparently hung himself with? Where did that go? Who was in? Who brought a new noose in? Why would you bring a new noose in? What the hell is that all about? I mean, is there any good explanation that you can think of? A single innocent A single innocent explanation. There's a noose found, but it's not the noose that hung him, and they can't find the noose that hung him. Huh? Okay, so now let me give you the latest mistake. This one came out over the weekend. United States Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York. U.S. Attorney Jeffrey S. Berman for immediate release. Friday, August 9th, 2019. Statement of Manhattan U.S. Attorney on the death of defendant Jeffrey Epstein. Manhattan U.S. Attorney Jeffrey S. Berman said earlier this morning the Manhattan Correctional Center confirmed that Jeffrey Epstein, who faced charges brought by this office of engaging in sex trafficking of minors, has been found unresponsive in his cell and pronounced dead shortly thereafter. Today's events are disturbing, and we are deeply aware of their potential to present yet another hurdle to giving Epstein's many victims their day in court. To those brave young women who have already come forward and to the many others who have yet to do so, let me reiterate that we remain committed to standing for you in our investigation of the conduct charged in the indictment, which includes a conspiracy count, remains ongoing. We continue to urge anyone who feels that they may be a victim to call blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what's wrong with that? I said it right at the beginning. Friday, August 9th. He died, and the release that looks like this one is clearly marked on the day he died, Saturday, August 10th. Now, this is being reported as not a mistake. This is just part of the dump. Can you give me a timestamp on when this was done? The answer is yes. You can tell when a document was drafted. Why is there no timestamp? If it's a mistake, why not include a timestamp? Or was this a rough draft just in case something might happen? You know, you shouldn't put prisoners into a cell where you have to write their death story just in case. What the hell is that all about? Jason, can you think of, other than they just got it wrong and it was written actually that morning and then somebody went in and corrected the date? And if that's true, why would you include this? Why did this circulate? Why?
So, yeah, again, total incompetence is almost to be expected here, right? Because everything has just been screwed from the beginning. So that would make sense. But then some of the inconsistencies still kind of scream something else here. Like, do you remember that one of the guards that wasn't asleep at the job actually miscounted and counted it down by one, which you pointed out. One. So, okay, so that almost putting into context of this, DOJ release, it almost sounds like they did know. So, if you take all of these together, it makes it seem like they're scrambling for an answer that no one's going to want to hear. And instead of just telling us that this is what happened, we're just being lied to about it. That's the appearance. Now, could it be incompetence? Sure, it could be incompetence because, it's the government and they haven't gotten a thing about this right. But
let me give you a bad answer. It's still bad, but not maybe as bad as, Hillary Clinton crept in an orange jumpsuit, which I hope she gets to wear someday. She looks beautiful in orange. But let me take a conspiracy out and add it with a less dangerous conspiracy. Still bad one. He died. The orange jumpsuit guy went up, killed him, got out. Nobody saw it. Nobody caught him. They didn't fall asleep. They go and they do their regular checks. They see he's dead. They immediately alert the FBI and the people in charge. It goes all the way to the DOJ. Somebody is hearing about it. Got to write this. Might be in the middle of the night, but got to write this because he died the night before, the 9th. Okay. And what they decide to do is, look, this is going to be such a mess. Just give us until the morning so we can get our crap together. And so they concoct this story that they just didn't go on their rounds. They missed all their rounds. Look, we're going to give you immunity, so you're not going to get in trouble for it. But you were sleeping, and then you just missed your rounds, and you falsified the stuff. Don't worry, we're not going to charge you with anything. Just go along with this. I mean, that doesn't seem feasible, only because you just don't want to have that many people in on a secret. You can't, secrets like that don't last. But that's the best innocent explanation. Besides this particular thing, somebody just got the date wrong. They circulated it and they're like, you got to change the date. And he changed the date. But I'd like to see the timestamp on it. But that doesn't excuse all of the other things, like the orange jumpsuit going up. Can you think of anything, Ricky? Can you think of anything that is innocent? That is,
just a typo, but again,
what about the rest of it?
On the blob.
Yeah, on the orange blob.
The prisoner has special privileges.
Like, he's going to come up and visit you maybe tonight, huh? Yeah, that kind of special privilege. Jason?
Yeah, I've always thought that, there's very specific rule. So if this is not a conspiracy, except for the hiding of everything, if it's not that, I've always, if you watch any, there are a lot of YouTubers out there for ex-cons talking about the rules of prison, and they would never have allowed someone like Epstein with everything he's accused of to get off scot-free and just to continue living his life without suffering. And that's just the rules of prison. So the way the government has always talked about this, of course we didn't do this, of course we didn't do that, whatever. I always thought that it would have been I assumed it was going to be a prisoner that had done something, was kind of allowed to do something.
Of course it was. It was not going to be Hillary.
This makes the most sense. Yeah, no, this makes the most sense. And now, because of everything else that happened with all the convenient things that happened with cameras being down or, guards asleep, miscounts, all this stuff, that they just don't want to show how ridiculously corrupt and incompetent the prison system really is. And that to me is what I think happened. And now they just don't want to admit it. The problem is you're making the conspiracy worse and worse and worse and worse as more disclosures come out.
Somebody should go into those prison records and find out if somebody has been pardoned that had a really violent past, had a really had the ability to do these kinds of things, that was in that prison, that suddenly found themselves pardoned or released. Because I haven't heard anybody look into that. But if it was a prisoner, you're not going to keep that guy in prison because he'll tell everybody in prison. He'll let everybody know. Yeah, I killed him. I killed him. He'll start saying those things. You either have to kill him or you have to reward him and get him out of jail.
What's crazy is...
All right, let me tell you about our... What? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, what's crazy is every time a new prisoner shows up to a prison, they have to what's called show their paperwork, which is show why they're there. If there's anything involving children or rape or anything like that, those people are marked. He didn't have to show his paperwork because everyone already knew it since it was so public. It's just, it seems kind of obvious to me.
But you don't put him in that cell block and expect him not to have that happen to him.
No.
That's why, why do you put, Mr. Sleepy Time, up guarding on the first day he's there? Really?
Oh.
Come on, for the love of Pete. Under the Biden administration, I could have believed it, but, this wasn't under the Biden administration.